Welcome back to episode 2
Crandocast.
of Crandocast.
So, today, we got the NBA, we got a mock draft.
Are we gonna do that first, or?
I think we should do it first.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. Let's
Yeah,
do it
okay.
first. I messed it, yeah.
Alright.
So,
So,
I think you'll go first. We got our, I think, yeah. you
for
go first.
Minnesota, I got conservative as Edwards, as
And
Anthony Edwards.
hold on, one sec. Actually, we were, by the way, just to like fill in someone, we're gonna do like our conservative pick, aggressive pick, and like just pick, I guess. Yeah. So sorry.
I think Minnesota's conservative pick is Anthony Edwards, and their aggressive pick is LaMelo Ball. Edwards has the higher floor, so he's obviously more conservative.
Yeah.
You don't have as much room for, error.
Mm-hmm.
But then LaMelo, he has a higher ceiling, so you could get more out of him.
Yeah, his floor is deep.
You can't really shoot.
Yeah.
What do you have for pick one?
Okay. For me, for pick one, I got for the Timberwolves, I got, again, conservative Anthony Edwards and aggressive LaMelo Ball. I think partially because Anthony Edwards also plays, he can't, I think he could play a bit of small forward if the Timberwolves really wanted him to, but he's shooting guard anyway, and they just don't need a point guard. And I think that if they did pick LaMelo, they would try to move D'Lo to the shooting guard, which I don't think he wanted to do. Which I think that's part of the reason the Lakers traded him. Just like when they drafted Lonzo, a lot of people thought they were going to move him to shooting guard, but they just traded him. So who do you have for two?
For Golden State, I have Wiseman for both conservative and aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only pick they should be making here.
Yeah.
They don't need a Avadija. Is that how you say it?
Denny Avdija. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Well, they don't need. I think Wiseman is pretty much the only pick they should be making here. They need a big man, and Wiseman has a lot of talent. He does have some off the court problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. For me, I have, for their conservative, I had them actually trading it for 2 firsts next year, or for their or this is kind of aggressive, but I had another thing as aggressive too. So I actually had them possibly trading for Kevin Love, just because he's kind of older, and the Cavaliers, like, as they're rebuilding, Kevin Love is not a player that they really need, a kind of older veteran player. Maybe if they want to develop the team a bit more, but the amount of money he's making, I don't think they really want that right now. And I think that Kevin Love would be a pretty good fit with the Warriors.
Yeah.
He's not insanely ball happy, like he played with LeBron and Kyrie and still managed to do pretty well. And I had 2 conservatives, just that, and the other conservative was James Wiseman. Just because I think that's the only pick they can make. I know it's like it could be conservative and aggressive at the same time, but I see it as like the only pick they would really make if they do make a pick. And then for aggressive, I actually had them trading. I saw this somewhere. Someone said that they could trade them for Wiggins and like a couple other firsts for Joel Embiid. Just because that's kind of crazy. I know that the Sixers, like, he was the whole kind of like thing about the process, but I think that just because of how like this season turned out, did not go well at all for the Sixers. And I think Joel Embiid, he's having a lot of injuries and he's getting older. I think that the Sixers will end up wanting to move him at some point if he continues doing what he's doing right now. And I think that the Warriors would definitely take Joel Embiid. But, yeah.
For Charlotte, I got the aggressive as Avadija.
Yeah.
Avadija. I don't know how to say his name. And then the conservative as either Edwards or Mello, depending on which one slips to 3. And I just think Avdija. People are calling him like the next Doncic, the best player in the class, but you never really know with international prospects. And Edwards and Mello, they're just really hyped up for first pick, so it would be nice to have either one of them. But I think you could probably get the most value out of Avdija. with that pick.
I'm gonna just say Denny.
Yeah, Denny.
And then
Who you got for? Oh wait.
oh yeah, I think for Charlotte, I don't even know like if there's anybody on their team that they wouldn't consider drafting someone to like take their spot. You know, like I don't think anyone on their team is irreplaceable right now. So I had them for their conservative. I actually had them play. I had them taking LaMelo Ball as kind of an in between conservative and aggressive. Because if he slips that far, I think the Hornets are 100% going to take him. I know that, like, his dad is kind of obnoxious, LeVar Ball. I mean, he's, like, I guess he kind of helped them out in the way by getting their name out there a bit more. But at the same time, like, Michael, didn't he say, like, he could beat MJ in a one-on-one?
Yeah.
And so I think, I don't know if MJ is going to be like, oh, that's if MJ is going to take that personal or not. But I think that if LaMelo does fall out far, I think it would be really dumb for the Hornets not to pick him because, again, they don't really have a position that's irreplaceable right now. Even the Devontae Graham's probably their best player. He is not an irreplaceable player at all.
They could probably just play him at like shooting guard.
Yeah. Yeah, and then for aggressive, I had them trading for like some. I had them actually drafting LaMelo and immediately trading him for some other established star, which I think the Hornets really would want. If MJ has any hard feelings towards LaMelo, I think that would be a smart option for them. Just like, yeah.
Yeah. For the Bulls, I got conservative as, I just got both picks as Denny. I think if Denny falls to him, he's the only pick. I don't see anyone else in this draft being as good of a pick as Denny. Denny, I know I said he's international. You don't know what you can get from them. But if people are calling him the next Luka, I think they should just take him. They shouldn't let him slip.
Yeah.
They should I'm looking at the other people, and they're good. It's just I don't think they're as good as Denny.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think part of it is that, like, I don't know. I think that Carney Shovis, I don't know how to pronounce his name either, so I just say that. But I think that he is, I'm pretty sure, foreign-born, and I think he's a good foreign-born scout. He drafted Jokic in I guess it was in the second round, but he still drafted him, and he kind of put together that Nuggets core, and Jokic was a huge part of that. I think that if he knows what I think he knows what he wants in a international player. So I had their conservative Denny Avdija, and their aggressive actually was Killian Hayes. But I think that what they would realistically do is either Denny Avdija or trade, because this draft class, in my opinion, is not insanely deep. And I think that if the Bulls really want to have long-term success, I mean, I think that they could have long-term success with Denny. I don't think that he's a bad pick, but I think that they could possibly trade this pick for multiple firsts next year, especially if Denny's on the board. They've been picking Denny and trading him immediately for a couple firsts next year would be big, just because of the quality of next year's draft too. So yeah, that's what I have for the Bulls.
Good.
And
for the next pick, which is the Cavs, I got Vassell as the conservative, and Killian Hayes as and Killian Hayes as the aggressive. I think Vassell, they have very similar stats. They both average the same amount of points, like same percentages. Well, I think Vassell does have less minutes per game.
Yeah.
But they just swap. Vassell has 4 rebounds per game, but then Hayes has 4 assists per game, so it's kind of like a swap.
Yeah.
But and you never know what you can get from international prospects. I know they're becoming more and more surefire. You've seen with like Jokic, Doncic, Porzingis. But I don't know. I think these international guards, I'm not very. I'm kind of worried about that because remember Frank Ntilikina? Everyone was high on him. He's an international guard, I think, from France too. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But he's not been very good.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I think some international players are huge busts, but I think sometimes, it's kind of hit or miss, I guess, sometimes. And for me, I had the Cavs taking Obi Toppin if
Yeah.
he's still up there, because I think I had him as both conservative and aggressive. Actually, no, I had him as conservative just because I think he's just a surefire. He's going to be a decent player in the NBA. I feel like it's kind of crazy how I think he won the Wooden Award last year. It's crazy how they would fall to 5 or even below 5, but I think that the Cavs should take him just because it doesn't. He's only like 22. People are saying he's older, but he's only 22, and he's pretty. Yeah, he's a leader.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Cavs really need, especially with all these young players on their team. And for aggressive, I had them either trading down or a draft and trade, or just picking him and immediately trading. I had a lot of trades in this mock draft just because I feel like the class, again, is not insanely deep. So a lot of these high-pick teams may want to wait till next year. But again, at the same time, there's not a lot of teams that would trade, for the pick this year because of that same reason, if they do feel that way.
Okay, for the Hawks, I have conservative. It's Aaron Nesmith. He's the best shooter in the draft. He's very good at shooting, and I think they need more of that. Or I know there's Trae Young and everything, but you have John Collins in the paint, and I think it'd be better for floor spacing so Trae Young can ISO, do whatever he wants. And for my aggressive, I got them trading down for more picks, or because this isn't a very deep class.
I can see that. I think the Hawks, they're struggling. So I think I had the Hawks picking Killian Hayes, just because I think he's kind of a
But he's also a point guard.
Yeah, you're right. He is a point guard. I think they if they did pick him, they would have him as a shooting guard. I don't know if you would be willing to make that switch. So I guess it is more of an aggressive pick.
Yeah.
But I think I had another conservative, which was trade up and try to get Denny Avdija. Denny, I'm just going to say Denny. But I think that he's a player that would fit them really, really well for what they need if they did make a pick in this draft. I think that Denny would just be a really smart choice because he's a great all around player, which is kind of what the Hawks need. A lot of their offense has been just based on just going all around Trae Young and kind of and John Collins. But their rebounding was pretty horrible last season, I think, and their defense was pretty horrible. And Denny can just help all around most of those spots, which is kind of what the Hawks need at this point. And I had. Their aggressive was Onyeka Okongwu.
Yeah.
Because I think that he's a young center. He's kind of hit or miss, I feel like. And I feel like there's a lot of teams that would like to take a chance on him if they do make a pick this year. But at the same time, I feel like some teams will probably be scared by the fact that he's more of a hit or miss player. I don't think he's I don't know. I think he has a pretty high ceiling, and I think his floor though is pretty low as well.
Alright, next is the Hawks. Wait, no, not the Hawks, the Pistons. I got the conservative as Tyrese Halliburton and the aggressive as Hayes. I think, again, Halliburton and Hayes... Well, Halliburton, I believe he was averaging more points, but Hayes, he was a pretty good passer because he was point guard.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Hayes is international prospect, so he's kind of he could either be really good or really bad. I don't really see him as being in the middle. I mean, he could probably be. Lots of international prospects are they're just bench players. But I don't see Hayes being a bench player.
Yeah.
I see him as either hit or miss.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Pistons. I feel like it kind of sucks for them to get 7. I mean, they're just they're screwed, kind of. I feel like.
Well, your Bulls got a higher pick though.
I'm glad about that though. For the Pistons, I had them picking Onyeka Okongwu just because I think pairing him with Sekou, they're both really young forwards, and I think that both of them could pair up really nicely if they do end up developing well, both of them. At the same time, I had them there aggressive as possibly Cole Anthony or trading up to get Anthony Edwards or James Wiseman, just because Anthony Edwards just be a great pickup for most teams, I feel like, and James Wiseman would be another good piece to pair with Sekou at the same time. So I think either Onyeka Okongwu or James Wiseman would be a good pick to pair with Sekou if they wanted to do that. Otherwise, I think the other people, yeah.
Yeah. All right, for the Knicks, I got conservative as Obi Toppin, aggressive as Cole Anthony for the Knicks. And I say that because Obi Toppin, he has a lot of talent. He's already good. I'm not sure how high his ceiling is. That's probably why he's not so high.
Yeah.
But he has a really high floor. He probably has the highest floor in the class, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the aggressive Cole Anthony, he did really his kind of stock really fell off this year. At the beginning of the when he was coming out of high school, he was he was ranked up. He was one of the best. Yeah, he was like top, I don't know, 5 I think in recruits.
Yeah. And
he was just really highly ranked, but he really fell off in college.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of that is his stats were good, but his team was not doing very well, and that's like a team that really prides themselves on winning North Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do think the Knicks would kind of have to develop him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has raw talent, I think, and they need to develop that a little bit. But the Knicks aren't very good at developing. That's why I think that's their aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that totally. I think the Knicks fan. I feel pretty bad for them, like falling to 8, as they usually do. I don't know, and I guess it's good for them kind of because it's not an insanely deep class.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, and then the Bulls as well moving up kind of wasn't as exciting. I mean, it's still pretty good, but yeah. For me, I had the Knicks trade up, or I had to trade for future picks as a conservative because I think the Knicks are a team that just really is in full rebuild mode. I know they have some young people, and I think that, but I think they still need some other young pieces to kind of pair with them, and I think that either trading this pick or getting someone to trade immediately would be a good idea. So that's their conservative. I think also Devin Vassell. Yeah. I think he's a good pick just because he's kind of, he's got kind of. I think he would just be I don't know. I think he would be a good fit with the Knicks, kind of. Mm-hmm. And then for aggressive, I had them trading up to get LaMelo. Yeah. I think LaMelo would be a great fit in New York, just a large market team and getting a large, like a big name player such as LaMelo. I think would just be a great idea, just because of his talent. I think he's a high risk, high reward player, but I think at the same time that's kind of what the Knicks need. Yeah. They really need to kind of take a chance, and really just throw the dice out there and just try and get the best person they can. And I think that LaMelo is a surefire. I mean, that's kind of that description fits Melo pretty well. So yeah, I think that's what the I have the Knicks picking.
I think LeVar would probably want Melo going to the Knicks to New York. I think that's LeVar's best case scenario.
Yeah, I think he would hate on the team with him, but he would end up liking it. Yeah.
Okay. For the Wizards, I have Onyeku. Yeah. That's a player who's around this range. I believe he could fall to the Wizards. I think that's the only pick they should be making if he falls to them.
Yeah.
He's a very good interior force, so he's very strong and can rebound.
Yeah.
And I don't think they need him to shoot. I mean, if he learns to shoot, he can be really good.
Yeah.
But I don't think he needs to. I don't think he needs to know how to shoot.
Sure.
And he's just. I don't know. I like him. I really like him as a prospect coming out of USC. Yeah. Being LaMelo's teammate.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right.
Okay, I actually had the Wizards. Yeah, I had the Wizards picking Precious Achiuwa. I don't know how to say his name either, but I think that he's kind of that's the conservative pick. I think that he would kind of fit well with the team. I know the Wizards don't have like just one position that's insanely in need. I mean, they kind of do, but at the same time, I think they're going to need to make a big trade at some point. And that's what I had for my aggressive, which was packaging the pick in John Wall. for either to try and trade up to the top like 2 maybe and try to get Anthony Edwards to run shooting guard next to Bradley Beal. I think that would be a good team.
Bradley switches to primary ball handler.
Yeah, and I think and then I think either that or just trading John Wall to pick for just another like certified, just already proven himself star player in the league. I think that would be really beneficial, to the Wizards. I think they really need someone like that. And I think that John Wall, the Bradley Beal and John Wall duo, we did a video on that. You should check it out. But it hasn't worked out, and I think that at some point change needs to be made because nothing new is happening. There hasn't been a breakout step up year at all. Pretty much, it's just been steadily just not good.
For Phoenix, I got Sadiq Bey as the conservative and Cole Anthony as the aggressive. And Cole Anthony, he's just a very aggressive pick.
Yeah.
And Sadiq Bey, I think he's pretty conservative. He can shoot. He's just I don't know. I just like him as a conservative pick. I think if they really want to go aggressive, they get Cole Anthony. And I know, and I mean, I'm not sure. I think he could maybe pair with DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker, but I was thinking more they could pick Cole Anthony and trade him.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I think they should try to get someone. I think they should pick him and trade him, trying to get like Aaron Nesmith.
Oh, yeah,
because he's a really good shooter, and I mean that is kind of high. Yeah, or it's only like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 4 picks, 4 picks earlier, and I think Cole Anthony or their pick and like someone else on their team.
Yeah.
They could probably get Aaron Nesmith with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree totally. So I had the Phoenix Suns trying to trade for some depth. I don't think they really need a star player right now. I think their bubble performance really proved a lot about their kind of culture. I think what they really need is a bit more depth, maybe some like filling the holes in the roster. And I don't think there's much that picking here would really help them with. I don't think there's many like needs that could be addressed right now by this pick. I think there could be some needs that could be met, but I think what Phoenix really needs right now is some, I don't know. I think some thing such as this, which I thought they're aggressive, was trying to package like some of the bigger contracts on their team. So in the free agency, they could maybe try and get like Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond. I think he's a big name free agent, and I think that after Phoenix kind of established that winning kind of culture in the bubble, I think that Andre Drummond, a lot more players will be willing to go there, and I think if they had the cap, Andre Drummond would be a pretty nice fit for this team. And
DeAndre Ayton and Andre Drummond are both really big team presences.
Yeah, you're right. I think they could hopefully make it work. If not, I had them trading up for either Anthony Edwards if they could do that. I don't know if there's anyone on the team that really, really want to move or have like, I don't know, and then or I had them try and free cap to try and get Drummond. So that's our mock draft. That's our 2020 NBA mock draft after the lottery. Yeah.
I think Henry Ruggs, I think he's overrated. I think he's overrated because everyone liked Henry Ruggs because Tyreek Hill broke out. Now he's a really good wide receiver.
Yeah.
But Tyreek Hill, I feel like, has more agility and not just straight line speed.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
Henry Ruggs, he didn't have much production last year. I know Tyreek Hill didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm not even really sure if Derek Carr and Henry Ruggs fit that well.
Yeah.
And I don't think Henry Ruggs should have been picked over Jerry Jeudy. Henry Ruggs, he just has, I don't know, he doesn't have, he has skill, obviously. If he can make the NFL, he has skill.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have, like,
as much.
Yeah, he doesn't have as, he was mostly drafted for his speed because of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I just don't think he can be Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. He's kind of under. Yeah. I agree with that. I think that him over Jerry Jeudy was kind of insane. When I saw that pick, I was like, what are they doing? I think he's not an insane route runner. I agree his production was not great. I think part of that was because of Jerry Jeudy, but I do believe that his production should have been better to be picked that high, especially. And I think that him and, like, Derek Carr, I don't think they would mesh well. I think that Derek Carr is a really good quarterback in the right situation. I think when he had Amari Cooper, him and Amari Cooper would just mesh pretty well, I think. And just the fact that Amari Cooper, I think Derek Carr can deliver a good throw when someone's open. And I think Henry Ruggs is not the best route runner. He's really fast. And I think that part of that pick was trying to keep up with, like, other teams and, like, trying to pick faster people, which I don't know if that's the best idea right now. I think that Jerry Jeudy or even CeeDee Lamb, I think, would still have been a better pick than Henry Ruggs. I think Henry Ruggs should not have been the third highest picked receiver. I think he could have been even fifth, maybe. Yeah. I think that if the Raiders were going to pick Henry Ruggs, I think they should have at least traded down, maybe. I agree with you there, though. Yeah.
All
right, next, I wanted to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and, like, Big Ben. I think the Steelers, I think that a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people on Instagram saying that they're, like, a lot of their Super Bowl or, like, deep playoff contenders, which I disagree with a lot. I think the last season was horrible, and I think they can do a lot better. But at the same time, I think that the last season left a lot of unanswered questions about the Steelers. I think Juju really did not step up as much as a lot of people thought he would. I know he did really well 2 years ago, but I think last year he did not take as a more of a leap, you know. And I think they really need him to do that.
He didn't have a QB, when he doesn't have a good QB, he can't really produce. Yeah,
and that's And then also another question was their running back. I know that, like, a couple of their running backs were doing pretty well, but at the same time they don't have a bona fide, like, starter that they can really, like. I mean, I guess they do. Yeah, you're right. James Conner is doing pretty well. I think that towards the end of the season, though, I think that a lot more holes in their team got kind of exposed, and I think quarterback especially. I think the Big Ben is kind of he's aging, bro. I don't think he's nearly as good, and I think that their defense maybe was pretty good. I think as people on the Steelers start to age, a lot of the people are still there from when they're Super Bowls, when they were winning Super Bowls, but I think now they're starting to get older, and I think they need to start making some more moves to try and turn it into a younger kind of containing team, which is not, in my opinion, is not what they are right now.
Well, I think they really pulled it together. The defense really pulled it together at the end of the season. Minka really picked it up last season.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure if Big Ben will be as good next year since he's old. He'll probably get injured.
Yeah.
So the Steelers really need to have, like, a second option. But I think the defense I'm excited for the defense, and that will help Big Ben in the offense more if the defense can really do something and the offense doesn't always have the ball.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was just a really underwhelming season for the Steelers fans.
All right, Shay. I wanted to talk a little bit about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. It's been kind of underwhelming in the bubble, but I mean, it's a hard situation being in the bubble, and I still have belief in him. I think he's done pretty well in this Rockets Thunder series. He's been even making more shots.
Yeah.
And I mean the Rockets don't have the greatest of defense because they're a small ball lineup.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I agree. I think that Shea, I really, at first, towards the beginning, I really doubted Shea a lot, you know? I think as I watched that kind of the Thunder and Rockets games, I think I kind of, my belief in them grew more and more. They had this one really clutch shot that tied the game with 5 seconds left. I thought for sure he was going to miss it. He was wide open in the corner, and that's just such a tough shot for, like.
He missed it?
No, he made it, but it's just such a tough shot for, like, younger players to make. I know you're wide open and it should make it easier, but at the same time, with 5 seconds left, like, the team is pretty much counting on you at that point. If you miss that shot, you're pretty much screwed. That's just such a big shot, and he nailed it. And then I think that's pretty much what just my trust level just went straight up from there on him. I think he's going to be a good player. I think right now he's running kind of a 3-guard lineup. He's not getting the minutes that I think he's getting the minutes, but I think he could be getting a bit more. But yeah, I think that he is a very good player. I think that he has a lot of talent that I did not think he really had earlier, you know. I remember telling everyone that I remember telling you especially, I didn't think Shea, I didn't know it was, like, why everyone was so crazy about Shea, but I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Okay, so, I think, trades, or actually, I think first, I do not know how to pronounce his name, so I'm just going to say Lou Dort. On the Thunder, he in that last game where the Thunder won. By the time we release this, I don't know what will have happened in the series. So after that, but the Thunder just won their first game, and Lou Dort just locked up James Harden. He held him to 3 for 13. Most of Harden's points were from free throws too, and most of those free throws came from Steven Adams fouling him, like running over to help and then fouling. And even the announcers knew that was not the right move. They're like, I know that's your natural instinct as a center, a big man kind of defender guy, Steven Adams, but just don't Lou Dort is locking up James Harden right now. Don't come over and kind of foul him. Give him more chances to get hot. And James Harden also fouled out for the first time in the season, and the Rockets, that kind of exposed a bit of the holes in the Rockets team. I guess as soon as James Harden was out, they were screwed.
Well, Lou Dort, he's really good at defense, and that's what he's primarily out there for. They don't need him to score; they just want him to lock up James Harden.
Yeah.
So I think he doesn't have to waste any energy on offense, so he can stay with James Harden and not get tired.
Yeah. I think because he's such a young player, I think that he's pretty young. I think that they could still develop him a bit more to the point where he could become not a huge offensive threat, but enough of a threat where people would be where he would be a starter 100%. But I think his defense is just great. I think maybe that might change. I think that take right there could change big in this next Thunder game, just because James Harden's gonna have a chip on his shoulder, I bet, now that everyone's saying, because he did get locked up by Lou Dort. I think he's gonna get really pissed, and we'll see if he does really well because of that, or if he does not do very well.
Alright, I wanted to talk a little bit about Luka. By the time I'm recording this, he just had a really good game. He hit a game winner. I think he had a 40-point triple-double. It's crazy. He carried his Mavericks team to a win, and that's without Kristaps. It's crazy. It's just, while you were watching him, you would see him, get to the paint, and he was strong. He would, muscle through contact and make shots and make layups. And his passes were amazing. That's why they call him Luka Magic. And I think that game winner, I know he didn't have to take a 3, but it was still impressive. He had a hand in his face. He took a sidestep 3, and he made it. He was even surprised he made it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Luka is a star already, and that's just crazy to say his second year. But I think I don't know when he's gonna get his first shot at, I don't know when he's gonna be a real MVP candidate, top 2, just because of Giannis, and I guess when LeBron retires, it's kind of open a bit more. But I think Giannis right now is just dominating. I think that Luka would need to maybe even somehow, if he could even do this, just take a tiny bit, another step in his game, if that's even possible. I think then he could probably win a couple. I think that would just be the thing that would push the Mavericks into contention. It's into the finals. I think it's kind of crazy that they're not really in a lot of people's finals favorites, even though they had a record-breaking offense, and that's just crazy. It's just
their defense isn't good. It's just that's what's holding them down.
Yeah, I think they really need to work on Luka's defense a bit too, because then they could help him out there. I think the draft and free agency could maybe help that out a bit, but there's some holes that Luka needs to fix.
Yeah, they need to get a defender.
For sure.
I like Jalen Brunson, though, because he can defend.
Yeah. Okay, next, I think I wanted to talk about, possible trades, either in the NBA or the NFL. Who do you think is someone that is right now going to get? Do you think they could be traded, or some big time trades? Do you think could end up happening?
I think, I mean, this is not on the higher spectrum of big trades, but I 100% think Kevin Love should and could be traded. The Cavs don't need him anymore, and I think they could get. Right now is when he'll probably have peak value. I think he'll just going down and down from here.
Yeah.
I mean, no one really wants him, but
yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think they need to trade him right now while stock is still something. I think they're rebuilding. They need younger players, and Kevin Love does not really fit that, even though he is someone that could help develop the team a bit. But I think there are some teams that could maybe take a chance on him. I think the Cavs really do need to trade him. So, yeah, and then for me, for the NFL, I was thinking maybe like not a Tyler Lockett, but like a player a lot like DeAndre Hopkins. I think that, I know he just got traded and he's in Arizona and he's happy, but I think that he's just such a big player, you know? And the Cardinals, I think right now are trying to form just an insane team with all their young players, and I think if any of those players start to grow into someone that has kind of this, that wants to take a leadership role, that's something that Hopkins, I don't think he would give up. You know, I think he's a leader 100%. And if anyone tries to challenge him, I think that would piss him off. I think he would really not like that. I think if they do take a chance on like an Earl Thomas in free agency, I don't know if they have any cap left, but if they do and they get him, I think there could be some repercussions in that. I think he's a player that could. That's a far fetched, but I think there's a chance. You know.
I like DeAndre Hopkins because I think the Cardinals, if they have a fast receiver, they could just throw a bunch of screens to him, to the fast receiver, and then they could just throw it deep to DeAndre Hopkins. He's just someone that always comes down with the ball.
Yeah.
Or like a medium route or something farther than a few yard. Screen. I think he could fit in this air raid a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another person that could get traded is Chris Paul. I know he's such a big part of the Thunder, and I think that he will stay there for a while. I think that if next year is not a good year, I think next year, which is I think a possible thing, is if he does really really bad, I think there's someone that the Thunder would trade. I know that's, again, these are all, I mean, it's kind of hard to predict a big trade, but I think that's one that could happen, even though he's he's kind of holding together their team, I think, a bit. I think that right now he's still shown that he's a good player in the league, and I think that the Thunder will keep him as long as he is that. But I think at some point, if the Thunder want to make that next leap, they're going to need to expand their team a bit more. Well, and it's going to be difficult with that contract.
I don't think they can win the finals with this team. So I think they need to trade Chris Paul when his value is, I think, highest this season.
Yeah.
And get someone that can help for the future for contention while the rest of their young core develops.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And Joel Embiid is another person I think could get traded. I talked about him earlier in the mock draft. He's just, the process is not working right now. I think Sixers fans are probably really unhappy. I know Ben Simmons did get injured, and that probably took a big hit, but they were not, not a lot of people had them even as finals contenders. Getting swept without Ben Simmons on your team to the Celtics, I think the Celtics are a great team, but I think that the Sixers should be really disappointed with getting swept, and even without Ben Simmons, I think that they should still have at least taken one game. And Joel Embiid was not all that in the bubble, and I think that he needs to step it up next year. I think that some team will, for sure, really want to trade for him. I think the Sixers will be willing to do that at some point, maybe for another player that can pair alongside Ben Simmons as a younger, not as injury-prone kind of player, you know? So, yeah, I think Joel Embiid.
All right. The last topic I wanted to go over was Jason Tatum. Last season, he didn't really make the strides people wanted him to make, but I think that's because he was more selfless last season. Yeah. He had Kyrie on his team, and that's hard. He was just a transition player, and but now he's really developing into a star.
Yeah.
And after the All-Star game, I think he was averaging 28 a game or something crazy.
Yeah, that's
He
insane.
became an ISO god. And it's just, I see him being a very good player in the near future.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that Kemba is a much better fit for the Celtics team than Kyrie was, especially because of what you said. It turns Jason Tatum into more of a weapon for their team, which is what they need him to be. I think he has a really, really bright future in the league. I think he's had so many mentors over the years that could just be like phenomenal mentors. We still have to wait and see how that turns out. But I think the Kyrie and Kemba and like multiple other people, just being around those people over your career is just something that is really helpful. I feel like he has a lot of good pieces around him. I think if the Celtics can continue to bring up the rest of their team, I think that they're a team that could be for sure in finals contention and could be like on top of the league in a couple of years. Yeah. What do you think? I think something else that could happen is his. I think that if the Celtics can't find another secondary star to him, I know that right now he's kind of a secondary star to Kemba in a way. I think at some point he's 100% going to be a bona fide number one star. I think that they need to find somebody soon, hopefully, that could grow with him maybe.
I think Jaylen Brown is that guy.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Jaylen Brown has shown some flashes of being insane. I think you're right. I think, Jaylen Brown is probably that guy. If he's not, though, then they're kind of screwed. I think, not screwed, but I think they really need to find someone at some point if the Jaylen Brown doesn't work out. I think he will, though. Jaylen Brown's a great player. And I think,
I think Brad Stevens is their coach. Brad Stevens, the Celtics are always really good with him. Even when their team isn't the best, they're still a very good. They're still contending really well. Like that one year when Gordon Hayward and Kyrie were injured.
Yeah.
They almost beat the Cavs, who went to the finals.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that Brad Stevens hopefully can help develop him because he really needs just some even more development if that's possible. He's just, I think he definitely has some, maybe even Hall of Fame potential. He's a great player. I think I think Celtics fans all love him. I think last year they really were disappointed in him, but this year I think a lot of people just hopped right back on the hype train for him, and I think they're right, honestly. Like I've said I think like 20 times, but he's a great player. I hope he can kind of take on a bigger role later in his career when he kind of grows into a more 100%. That's the guy you're going to number one build your team around him guy. I know they're kind of building the team around him now, but like kind of a more of a star, if that makes any sense. You know? Yeah.
And I hope he keeps taking strides next season. It's not just like, it's not like his progression just halts here. He just keeps taking strides. I think he could be an All-NBA first-team player, maybe even an MVP contender some year when the league is young and they have, or when this young league becomes old and then they have Luka as a star, Shea as a star, Tatum as a star, D-Book as a star. I mean, D-Book is already a star, but a bigger star, an MVP kid.
Yeah, no, I think the league's future is really bright, and Jason Tatum's one of those guys.
Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe and check out our podcast. And
check back for more. Thank you guys for listening. Bye. See you next week.